In post-traumatic stress disorder, the patient relives a trauma over and over. Flashes of scenes appear at any time and can begin to replay the entire trauma. Many try to stop the reliving through distractions or anesthetizing consciousness with drugs or alcohol. Dr. Alan Botkin, an Illinois State licensed psychotherapist, discovered how to reduce the impact of the traumatic memories by helping his patients have an afterlife communication with the person the patient is grieving over while they sit in the psychotherapist's office. In this video, you will hear two accounts of induced after-death communication that help patients have afterlife contact with the people whose deaths resulted in their traumatic memories. In both cases, the afterlife communication dramatically reduced the patient's grief. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. I'm the author of 8 books with the evidence you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing is a breakthrough therapy procedure that helps post-traumatic stress disorder patients reduce the intensity of intrusive memories from traumatic events by taking the reliving component out of the memory. Dr. Alan Bodkin, formerly on the psychotherapy staff at the North Chicago Veterans Administration Hospital, learned how to help combat veterans heal traumatic images by experiencing an after-death communication that results in positive images that naturally replace the negative images. He called the procedure Induced After-Death Communication, or IADC. I co-authored a book with Dr. Botkin about his procedure and the wonderful outcomes of helping patients reduce or eliminate their traumatic memories. Very often, the deceased's wounds, disfigurement, or distressed face are replaced by images of peace, calm, and a happy, smiling face. Patients often remark that they can't even remember the traumatic image as it was. When they try to remember it, they see the positive image instead. Jean's case is an example. This is a narration as reported by Dr. Botkin of Jean's experiences that healed his post-traumatic stress disorder.
Jean was 19 years old when his mother suffered a massive heart attack while they sat on the couch together. She said she didn't feel well, clutched her chest, and fell sideways onto him. Panic-stricken, he realized she wasn't breathing and gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but she was gone. Her eyes were open with the pupils rolled back, and her face had lost muscle tone. He called the awful image that stayed with him her death face. For decades, all he could remember about his mother was the death face. He avoided thinking about her because when he thought of her, he would see only the death face. As a result, he was unable to process his grief. He sat in my office describing the death face, shaking his head vigorously, as if that would shake the memory out of his mind. He had no tears, though. He protested that he was over it, but wished he could get rid of the death face. He agreed to let me use core-focused EMDR to try to reduce the sadness and accompanying image. I administered some eye movements, and his sadness increased, along with the clarity of the death face image. He was getting in touch with the intense feelings he had buried since her death. When the sadness peaked, he was racked with sobs. Stay with that feeling. Don't let go now, I said, and administered another set of eye movements. The sadness started to come back down. After another set of eye movements, he closed his eyes, and the IADC began. I can see my mother, he said with his eyes closed. She's dressed in white with tremendous light all around her. She looks young, maybe in her 20s, and she's wearing an outdated dress. After a few more seconds, he opened his eyes. She said she's very proud of me, that I should continue to be a good person, and she would see me again when it was my time. Dr. Botkin, I feel warm all over, like I haven't felt for years. I asked him if he could recall the death face. He thought for a moment. I can't see it. I'm trying to see it, and I can't see it. All I can see is her smiling at me and speaking to me like she did just now when I saw her. It's a wonderful feeling. From that time on, Harry insisted he couldn't remember the death face. His only memories of his mother were warm and positive.
In this second account, a student nurse named Freda had experienced a trauma over the death of a 5-year-old boy that was haunting her. Freda's story is another illustration of the healing effect of the simple, powerful message, "I'm okay," and of a pleasant image replacing a gruesome one. This is a narration of Freda's story as told by Dr. Botkin.
Freda was a student nurse who came to me because she was having intrusive images of a death that were interfering with her life. During her nurse training, she was on rotation in the emergency room one afternoon when a 5-year-old boy was brought in on the verge of death. He had been hit by a car, then run over by another car. His body and the gurney on which he lay as they rushed him through the emergency ward were soaked with blood, and he was unconscious. She and the emergency room team worked feverishly to try to save his life, but it was in vain. His injuries were too severe, and he died. Freda was in shock. She hurried home, locked herself in her room, and cried for hours. That night, she couldn't sleep. The intrusive images of the boy's mangled body and the blood kept coming back to her. For the next several nights, she slept fitfully, but the images came to her, and she would awaken in tears. She decided she was not cut out to be a nurse and prepared to leave the school. She came to me because she knew I specialized in helping patients with traumatic memories. After she told me the story, we started the IADC procedure. I first used EMDR on the images until they started to fade. Then I used core-focused EMDR to open the sadness that was at the core of her trauma. The sadness increased with successive eye movements, then started to come back down. I instructed her to be open to anything that came to her as she thought about the child and administered another set of eye movements. She closed her eyes. With her eyes closed, she described what she was seeing. "I can see the little boy. He's healthy and playing in a beautiful field with other children." She sat quietly for a moment, then opened her eyes. "What happened?" I asked. He looked directly at me and smiled. It was a wonderful smile, and I had the feeling he knew what I was going through. It made me feel like he's all right. Life's all right. "When you think of him, what do you see now?" I asked. She said, "I just see that wonderful, warm smile. I can remember his bloody body, but it's like an old memory of something that happened a long time ago and is over now, and I don't have the feeling I'm going to cry." She paused and looked at me in wonder. "In fact, I don't feel sad at all about it." When she came back for a session a week later, she told me that all negative images of the boy had vanished, but she kept seeing his wonderful smile when she thought about him. She had recommitted herself to nursing and had decided to become an emergency room nurse because she had something important to offer people, her strength.
People living in the life after this life are anxious to help us live happy, fulfilled lives. When someone in the afterlife has passed from the earth in an event that has traumatized someone, they want to help the person still on earth understand that they are alive and well, and they have no negative feelings about the patient or the event. As Dr. Botkin has said, those on the other side make the best therapists. In the same way, you are being given help by people living in the afterlife. They want you to live a happy, fulfilled life. They will come to you just as people from the afterlife come to patients when psychotherapists administer the Induced After-Death Communication procedure. You can access Dr. Botkin's website, which lists trained psychotherapists, in the link in the description below.